Hey y'all, welcome back to another video with laughs, gags, and gossip. Now let's get into the mess. Hey family, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. Y'all almost messed up and said laugh, gags, and gossip. I have to change that intro. But thank you for joining me tonight. I have been desperately trying to talk about Jay-Z and how he fits into all of this drama. But unfortunately, every day, even though it's not anything major, like an arrest or a grand jury indictment, there's just always stuff to talk about, right? Almost every single day. So now the latest thing that has come out in the last couple of days, and I haven't been on here for a few days, the latest developments are that, Cassie, they're saying that Cassie is cooperating with the feds, which I don't see why anybody would be surprised about that. Not long after she, filed that suit, and then Little Rod's, I'm just gonna call the man Rod, when he filed his suit, you have to know that there was going to be an investigation or something was going to come of this. And it was in New York, and with all the stuff with R. Kelly and Epstein, and also I remember when she first, when that complaint first came out that she filed against him and he settled so quickly, there was also, I can't recall where it was, but they also said that she had filed a police report. I remember that. And so now we're hearing that there was a police report filed then, probably in conjunction with, the lawsuit that she filed, and settled so quickly. And it's interesting because some people are saying, well, if she settled with them, because if you've been into a lawsuit, oftentimes they'll make you sign, like you can't disclose the terms of a settlement. And so that's probably true. She probably can't disclose like the money and certain things. But if like a crime occurs and the FBI and like Homeland Security, if federal courts come in, you will be subpoenaed. Like, I'm surprised that people are like, oh, she's cooperating. It's very rare that you hear somebody not cooperating with the feds unless they want to, be implicated and go to jail as well, right? So that comes as no surprise. So, we hear that Cassie is cooperating, which I feel like his attorneys should have warned him about that. Most of these attorneys, because I'm doing my research, I found that a lot of these attorneys that are involved in this, like Mark Garagos and some of the other ones, they've represented these people at different points in their lives, and they've represented and have been on high powered cases before. So they know how this is supposed to play out. I was watching, well, let's jump to that really quick. Well, I'm going to jump to her in a second. But the other thing that has recently come out, like I believe yesterday, is the fact that now Christian Combs is being drugged into all this. We heard that Justin, that he was involved in that scandal, that little episode that happened at the club with somebody got pow-powed. And so that, he was named in that case. And we just heard that there were going to be allegations against him, but now it's being confirmed that Christian Combs is going to be part of a lawsuit, and I'm sure he's going to be under federal investigation as well. I'm pretty sure they're looking at the whole Combs dynasty. They're going to really try to put the squeeze on Diddy. And so the more and more I've researched this, I feel like Diddy did a lot of things, right? And, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, all of that stuff. But the more that you delve into this, I really feel like Diddy is really, really kind of like the small fish, right? And that there's this whole, because people are throwing out terms like RICOs and, trafficking and all the things that go with that. I don't believe Diddy is at the top of the food chain when that comes to that. And I've also been saying, that I believe that Jay-Z is going to be drawn into this because people are starting to bring up some of his old dirty deeds, with the mistress and just different things that he's been involved in. And, he's actually he's actually had his legal issues where he's been arrested for doing stuff to people before. So nothing new, because before he became like this sophisticated Beyonce's husband, back in the day when he was slanging that stuff, Jay-Z was pretty wild, and he said that he did stuff, so I was looking at Jay-Z being the next target, which I still believe that to be true. But again, as we delve deeper and deeper, there's some people at the top that were able to make this stuff happen. Like when you look at all of these movies and you really hear about the cartels and all these, people that are the real big people. I mean, it's the foot soldiers, like, and I don't literally mean like the guys that's on the street corners, but it's the lower level people that, get arrested and all this stuff until they get to that head honcho. And I believe that Diddy, like I said, is tied into some people way over him, like that want to keep this information concealed. So let's get into some of this. So we got Cassie working with the feds. So she knows where all the cameras are. She knows where the bodies are hidden. Not literally, but she knows a lot. If this guy Rod was able to file a lawsuit like 70 some odd pages with the detail that he did, you can imagine the years of testimony that Cassie could provide, because this guy only lived with Diddy for about a year, maybe under a year. So, I mean, if he's got that level of information, you can imagine. And also those videotapes, that's going to be critical. And I'm also feeling like the whoever is his security agency, like the camera company, the company, his alarm company, who the surveillance company, I believe they're definitely going to have footage and copies of things. And because we just heard last week that somebody was selling some video, the NFTs online for $1 million, well, 1.5 million. So, all of that stuff is just going to keep floating out and floating out. So today, now this is also interesting. Stevie J, he's been seen with Diddy in Miami over the last week or so, being his little sidekick. Remember, they said that there was a video of Stevie J having relations with a man, and that Stevie J was on the payroll as an ex-worker for Diddy. And so, in my estimation, if he's being called all this stuff, I wouldn't be up under Diddy's arm. But, Diddy still has money and power and influence. He still does. He has not been convicted of a crime. So Stevie J is right there in his pocket. So Stevie J, he threatened 50, talking about, I'll challenge you to a fight. You want to keep talking ish. Well, now this is interesting. I really think this is interesting because this was very, very, very slick. So Stevie J shares footage, and this was on the Neighborhood Talk. He shares video footage he says Stevie J shares footage of what a Diddy party looks like. What this does is shows all these celebrities at Diddy's parties, right? And so Stevie J is close. Stevie J is right there with Diddy in Miami right now. Him releasing this footage, in my opinion, and others, is him low-key letting people know, hey, you were at the parties, like that Epstein list, like that nobody wanted their name to be released, and nobody wanted to be affiliated with Jeffrey E. when all of this went down. It's the same thing. So he's releasing footage of a Diddy party, showing the people, you were there, all these people. Oh God, okay, I want to go back because I wanted to show, and maybe this isn't a good one. I mean, there's so many celebrities at these parties, and it's like he's low-key calling them out. The Kardashians, Kobe Bryant, there was Jay-Z was there. These are all big people, right? And so look at that. Jay-Z, Kanye. Basically, he's saying, oh, Naomi Campbell, he's reminding them there may be video footage of you as well. And this was only one party. I mean, there are millions of, well, not millions, there's hundreds of other parties, but he's basically letting people know, low key, watch what you say. And now that we know there's hidden cameras in his house, wouldn't you be kind of nervous if you had gone to a Diddy party and kind of gotten a little high and was in one of those rooms, right? And remember that one DJ years ago, y'all know I'm bad with names, who said that he had accidentally stumbled into a room and saw Diddy spooning. It was a bunch of men on the floor, and he kind of exited out real quick because he had walked into the wrong room. You can imagine the kind of footage Diddy has of people that maybe they're not even aware of. They're thinking that they're going to his home, and they're just, things are private, and it's really not. Now, the other thing, you know what, guys, there was one other thing I was supposed to get, and I forgot to look it up. So if somebody is in the chat, please, can you put it in there for me? Didn't Diddy buy the Playboy Hugh Hefner's mansion? The house that got raided, wasn't that Hugh Hefner's old mansion? Let me look that up real quick because I want to make a comment about that. So let me see. Did Diddy buy, because I heard that somewhere, Hugh Hefner's, I don't know how to spell the man's name, old house. Let's see. I believe he did buy it. P. Diddy mansion and Playboy mansion. Who bought Hugh Hefner's mansion? It's not coming up as Diddy, but for some reason, I heard that Diddy had bought the mansion. But okay, I'm gonna get off of that because I can't substantiate that right now. But back to Stevie J. So, we see all this footage, all these people. The one thing everybody knows when you have an attorney, right? And, maybe Diddy strategist, maybe this was a good move, because I don't believe Stevie J put this footage out for nothing. It's already on the internet. I mean, it's floating around anyway. I actually found the website where it was posted. Like, it has over 400,000 views. And it was, I think, originally posted about 7 years ago. So it's not like he's posting anything new. But here's the thing. Diddy is under federal investigation right now. And you know what they say, anything you say can and will be used against you. So anything related to Diddy and parties is up to be examined again. So why, when you're under investigation or you're going through a lawsuit and you go to these radio shows and the celebrities say, well, I can't talk about it. My attorney has, said I can say that I can say this, but I can't say that. In my opinion, him putting out this footage is not necessarily incriminating people, but it's kind of casting the net to say, oh, don't forget, it's subliminal. It's totally subliminal. But why would you do it, right? Unless you're trying to send a message. And believe you me, all of those people are probably shaking in their boots now. Not that they even participated in anything, but nobody right now wants to be affiliated or associated with Diddy, right? I mean, we just heard last week that he went to Kanye's listening party and was like, oh, I want to talk to Kanye. And they was like, no, you don't, because Kanye ain't got time for you. And like Boosie said, all of his friends, ain't nobody showing up for him now. Where's your good buddy Jay-Z that you do the Rock Nation brunch with every year? Jay-Z and Beyonce have distanced themselves from him. They didn't even have it. Didn't nobody want to be bothered. So we've recapped all the happenings and the shenanigans of this week. But now this is really what I want to talk about. And I know there are probably other content creators that you guys have seen this, have heard some of this, who he was really aligned with and affiliated with. But I kind of want to recap it because some of this I'm just reading for myself. I don't really like to go on, what someone else says. It's like I like to do the research on my own. So let me put this banner back up for just a second, and then we're going to talk about some of the people that I saw. So if you look at that picture, you see Ron Burkle. That's the guy who they're saying was Diddy's financier, okay, all these years. Now, over it with the green tie on to my right is Clive Davis. Now, that's the one that everybody says, that initially gave Diddy, helped him get to become a record exec um, with Andre Harrell and all of that. And then there's Epstein right next to Diddy. Right behind Diddy is Jay-Z. And the guy in between those, he's the Salesforce guy. And I believe it's Ron Benioff. I've heard of him, but I don't know a lot about him. I just know he's super huge. That Salesforce building and the money behind Salesforce, that man is a multi billionaire, right? So Diddy is connected to all of these people, right? Um, the one person who's no longer here, Epstein, right? So with Epstein is connected to, I believe, Jay-Z was on that list. And I'm just going off the top of my head. So these are allegedly, don't quote me, but Jay-Z, Michael Jackson, Ron Burkle, the one that I mentioned before, who was supposed to be Diddy's, there's some rumors that him and Diddy may have had relations. I don't know how true that is, but we do know that Clive Davis has come out of the closet maybe about 5 years ago. Maybe my years could be a little bit off, but that he came out of the closet for years. He, was and managing Whitney Houston, never came out of the closet. And we know that his history is that he was ousted from a record company back in the 70s for allegedly giving drugs, supplying his artists with drugs, right? And there are a lot of artists under his tutelage that have died, right? So we know he has a very bad history. He was, I don't think he was arrested for it, but he was definitely part of a major lawsuit. And I have like old clippings back when they had the newspaper clippings, but he was definitely big in terms of, he was called out for supplying the medications to the celebrities. So we got Diddy connected with Clive, who, they're in the music business together. And then we got Ron Burkle, the one right here. Hopefully my cursor is circling on his face. Ron Burkle is the money man. So let's go to this article. Let's see. So this article right here, I think I'm there. So let me take off this brand thing. I gotta unhide it. Okay. So this article, it says Secrets of Diddy's Billionaire Boys Club. The rapper wooed Wall Street elite who praised him as a genius before the probe, right? So if you see this picture, they got Epstein right next to him. So everybody's saying that Diddy, the investigation that they're having right now with Diddy is parallel to Epstein. I have been saying parallel to R. Kelly, but it sounds like this is way bigger. I mean, way more people involved. Just is way deeper, than R. Kelly's case. Because now we're talking about weapons. We're talking about him with the medications. And, I'm using different terms because of YouTube. But, that he was trafficking all that stuff as well. And there are people who may have been unalived under him. So they're saying this is way big. They're even saying this is almost bigger than the Epstein, that it literally is because of all the different elements and things that he's being accused of. So let's listen to this. I'm going to play this right now. Let's see. Well, I guess I could talk it because it's not saying anything. It says Sean Diddy Combs draws Jeffrey Epstein comparison in wake of trafficking investigation. They're showing Epstein. they're showing Diddy on this yacht, right? And it says like Epstein Combs has been accused of luring victims with his luxurious lifestyle, and in some cases assaulting them aboard the yacht. Let me turn this music down a little bit. Assaulting them on the yacht. Now, I was watching something and they talked about how these uh like these, I guess I could say it, drug moguls or kingpins, they use jets and yachts and those kind of things because they can go out of international waters, and the laws in terms of what they can do with minors is very different. And also they can use those their lots, those yachts and stuff, to move their drugs, right? I mean, I didn't even think about that. So I guess they don't go through the regular customs, and they're able to, move the drugs. They're able to go to different places once they're outside of the laws of certain countries. Like there's a lot, like there's one country, I forget the name of it. Y'all know I really apologize. I should probably write everything down, where, you can have relations with kids as young as 13. And some who, if you guys are in the chat, if you guys know which country I'm talking about, where it's very well known, where a lot of wealthy men, they go and they date young girls, and they get the girl boys, that's what they call them over there. um and it's very common, right? So the fact that they have these yachts and they have these airplanes, that's what they're doing. That's what they're using it for. Hey Lulu, how you doing? Hope you had a good day at work today, sweetie. That's what they're doing. They're using these vehicles and vessels to do the X, the drug pushing, and all of this other stuff. So back to this. Let me go back to this. I want to go back to this article, because this article, I really learned a lot. So basically what they're talking about is how Diddy, because a lot of people said, Diddy was going with Clive Davis. That's how he got his money. But no, and I think I've heard other content creators say it. At the first person, shout out to Tisa Tells, because she was the first person I heard mention Ron Burkle. I didn't know anything about him, but I had to go do my own research, and then this came out, and I kind of put the pieces together for myself. But it sounds like what they're saying is Diddy was pretty bright. He was a bright kid. And this article says Sean Diddy Combs aggressively marketed himself to the ultra rich as he turned his edgy rap glamour into a $1 billion fortune. Billionaires. So it's a group of them. So you see, he's very well connected to this group of powerful men on Wall Street. Clive Davis was big in the music industry, but if you really look at what's going on now, I don't think it was Clive that really put him in position. It's his connection and affiliation with these Wall Street money, this old money, this political money, the lobbyists, the people in power, not Clive. Clive kind of got him into that music industry and maybe gave him a little power there, but it was Ron Burkle. Okay, so let's keep going. Billionaires told the Post he would cold email with business proposals, while other Wall Streeters acclaimed him as a genius, and one CEO of the New York Stock Exchange called him an inspiration on a par with the founding fathers. Okay, so remember there's this movie called Wall Street, The Wolf or something. Y'all got to go check it out, because it's the same kind of mentality where Diddy apparently was able to, probably almost like a con artist, but I mean, I guess, it was legitimate because he had some great ideas. They backed him. He was able to insert himself in this very tight billionaires club. So he was able to bring that raw rap street grit into the elite society, and it catapulted him into the position of being a alleged quote unquote billionaire. So that's Diddy. They're showing pictures of him. It says Diddy's status as a Wall Street tycoon was on show in 2006 when he rang in the New York Stock Exchange opening bell. So, people on the New York Stock Exchange and that kind of money, that's big money. They are pretty much the New York Stock Exchange, that's money, billions, making the world go round here all over the world. That's money up and down, that's where you want to be. And I believe he rang the bell too, him and French Montana, which that was an interesting sight to see him with French Montana. Where's your girls? Where's one of you women? But anyway, I digress. So, but after federal investigators raided his Los Angeles and Miami homes as part of what law enforcement sources have told the Post is a ex-trafficking investigation led by the Southern District of New York. Now, the Southern District of New York, they had a hand in the Epstein case. And from what I'm understanding, they're a very elite crew and they're not going to miss, okay? His career as an entrepreneur and investor is in jeopardy. Diddy has denied wrongdoing and called the probe a witch hunt. Diddy was first declared a billionaire by hip-hop wealth expert Zach O'Malley Greenberg in 2022, so not that long ago, but had coveted the status for years, telling Forbes in 1999, I want to be very, very rich, which he was able to attain that, right? So that's Diddy and Ron Burkle. Sorry, my mic was off. I'm sorry. So this is the guy that I really want to focus in on, right? Ron Burkle, because here's the thing. Ron Burkle was also named in the Epstein case. Although they said there was no wrongdoing, he admitted that he was aware of some things. Now, that's interesting that a billionaire would be associated with, that kind of little clique, and you're aware of it, but you didn't say nothing or do anything. And I understand that. It's like you could be aware of something. I mean, plenty of us are aware of situations, and hey, not my business, don't want to get involved. But I mean, he was on some kind of a trip with them, or he had visited the island, and apparently I guess he saw enough activities going on where he left early, right? He got the hell up out of there. But it's still interesting that you're in that circle. So just because he wasn't named and they said they couldn't find any wrongdoing doesn't mean that you might not have participated to that degree or that level of debauchery. But you don't just get to rub elbows with them unless they feel like you kind of may partake in some of it, right? But at this point, he still hasn't been fingered for doing anything, okay? But let's keep in mind, he was in and about the orbit of Epstein. And that's him with Diddy. And that's the person they're saying who really funded a lot of Diddy's projects, okay? So Diddy's relationship with billionaire Ron Burkle appears to be his longest business relationship. In 2015, Diddy again teamed up with Burkle and Mark Wahlberg to buy a water company, Aqua Hydrate. So Mark Wahlberg, you guys know he's the actor. They did I didn't know that, I knew that he had got the water company with Mark Wahlberg, but I didn't know that Ron Burkle was part of that until this. And so the water company, the water business is defunct now. It didn't really do well. But it says along the way, he acquired a Rolodex littered with bold-faced names. He partnered with billionaire investor Ron Burkle, was mentored by hedge fund guru Ray Dalio. Hedge fund, baby. Money, 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 money. Mentored by. So when somebody is mentoring you, they're watching out for you. They are able to, if something goes amok or something is wrong, hey, I got a friend down in so-and-so. He owes me a few favors. Don't worry about it. I'll get that tossed out. Had his fashion line sold in Macy's and Dillard's, went into business with alcohol giant Diageo, opened the New York Stock Exchange with Estee Lauder, heir William Lauder, struck deals with Zach Posen and Liz Claiborne, 50% owned his own TV channel, Revolt, launched a water range with Mark Wahlberg, and teamed up with Salesforce Mark Benioff, that's the guy I was talking about earlier, Salesforce, to launch a Black business marketplace. So these are just a few of the people that he was in business with. These are people he worked with, and those people have another network of people that they work with. So can you see how he has a hedge of protection around him? He's starting to have a network of people that know people that are money people and empowered and who can do things and make things go away. So now when we're talking about him being in all this trouble, anybody associated with him for any length of time has to start being concerned. I mean, come on now, birds of a feather flock together. They have got to be concerned. There's no way in the world people aren't starting to squirm, okay? So let me go back to that. Let me make sure I am. Y'all know I'll be coughing in between. So in 2003, he sent the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, an email asking to design the uniforms for the NBA team. Cuban told, or I think it's Cuban, but I'm going to say Cuban, told the Post they had never met, so the cold email was a bold move. So this is stuff that I didn't even know about Diddy, that he had designed, NBA team uniforms. So this guy, so Diddy had, he had visions. He was smart and he was able to do things. And that's how he was able to squirm his way into this billionaire socialite, right? For Diddy, it was a slam dunk to associate his new clothing brand, Sean John, with pro sports team. So again, what we're seeing is that he was smart, like getting his clothing line associated with a NBA team. That was brilliant. I mean, I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's pretty smart. So while Diddy took credit for the design, it was actually Diddy's top designer who created it, and Diddy signed off, Cobain said. Now, see, Diddy was always good for making deals, even just like with Biggie. He wasn't necessarily the talent, but he had the ability and the vision to see things. And I think that's what really worked for him. That's what really worked in his favor. Diddy asked to design the Mavericks uniforms. Okay, so we already talked about that. So he says, we were an up-and-coming team at the time when pro sports teams didn't do anything with the entertainment industry. We never even met. We never did any follow-up or anything beyond that. For Diddy, who had gone to Howard University to study business. Yeah, he went to Howard, but he didn't finish. A single deal with an NBA team gave him credibility that he leveraged for even more deal making. All of this was genius. But it was a two-way street. Diddy also used his own cachet, the promise of entry into a world of celebrity, to attract investments for his projects. So I think this is where where he was able to use, everybody thinks, X drugs, rock and roll, the celebrity lifestyle, it's glittery, it's fun, it's in the entertainment industry, it's so shiny. Everybody wants to be a part of that. So he was able to bring this Wall Street and these old guys, and be like, hey, like I can bridge the two worlds. And apparently he did it well. It looks like Diddy cleans up well. He dressed nice, sharp and stuff, and he had the ability to talk, articulate whatever they needed to hear. So he was able to bridge the two worlds. And that is what really catapulted him into being the success that he is. I wouldn't necessarily say Clive Davis. I'm going to start saying Ron Burkle more than, what has previously been thought. But it was a two-way street. Okay. And so it says the same, let's see. It says the same year as his Mavericks deal, Diddy got Burkle, a serial investor worth an estimated $2.9 billion, according to Forbes, to inject $100 million into Sean John. Diddy's big money did not come from the music industry, right? A lot of his money, well, the bulk of his money has come from his investments and his businesses, his business ventures. So what I want to say right now, this is where it gets interesting to me. So we got Ron Burkle, we got Diddy, and we got Michael Jackson. So we got Diddy right now, who's being investigated for ex trafficking and all that other stuff. And then we have your beloved past, Michael Jackson, who was investigated for years for what? Yeah. Uh-huh. Whether you believe it or not, that's part of his legacy. Okay. Some people say it was fake, they wanted money and all that stuff, but hey, listen, I really, I kind of lean towards something was wrong because I really don't see, I don't care who you are. You could be the best singer in the whole damn world. I don't see adult men sleeping in the bed with little boys, not their children. It just doesn't, I can't even fathom. It don't make sense to me. Um, as innocent as it could be, as innocent as people want to make it out to be, I think it's creepy, it's weird, and it should not have ever been. I don't know what his intentions were, but it's just, you don't even do that. You don't do, your children don't need to be sleeping with adults, non-bio parent, none of that. Okay. So, but we're going to let that rest. But what we see here is Ron Burkle, who admittedly knew about stuff going on with the Epstein and the Epstein Island, but has no wrongdoing, is now sitting with Diddy, pictured with Diddy, and also Michael Jackson. Okay. Interesting. But he don't do nothing. His circle of friends are all being investigated for weird stuff with children, but he ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay? Keep that in mind. So they go on to say Michael Jackson from Left, Diddy and Burkle attended an MTV party in 2003. Burkle purchased Jackson's Neverland Ranch for $22 million in 2020. Now, a lot of people found that very creepy and eerie as well. This is the same guy who's had some association with Epstein. Why, after all these allegations against Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch, why would you purchase it? This man has invested in a lot of properties. He's a big investor, has properties all over the United States and abroad. What would make him, and I mean, I guess he could say it was a business venture or something or an investment, but given his close proximity to people that have these heinous allegations, why would you purchase the Neverland Ranch? And all the things, I mean, why not purchase Elvis Presley? Go purchase Graceland or whatever. Like, okay, purchase something like that. But who will really want to purchase the Neverland Ranch with all of the allegations of the horrors that were done allegedly to children there, and that it's like a playground for people that like kids to do whatever they do? Very weird, very strange. So now I'm and not only me, a lot of people are saying there's no wrongdoing on Burkle's part. They haven't found anything. However, you're moving kind of weird. You're moving very strange because, a lot of times these predators, when they do things to people, just in general, when they commit crimes, they like to keep the trophies. So if this person allegedly is part of that ring that does stuff, to the little ones, it would make sense that he would have this in his possession, right? For the weirdos that want to go visit and, talk about it. Hey, I got the Neverland Ranch. $22 million is really nothing for a person that's a billionaire. If you want to have like some weird, perverse trophy for your friends, that like stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you guys want to go take a look? I mean, I'm just saying the average sane person wouldn't necessarily want to be associated with that, but we shall move on. So now we go, and here's a list of all his, I'm not going to go down the list of all his business ventures, but it's just a lot, they're just kind of chronicling his case and, how it unfolded when he was sued, just a lot of things that he's been involved in as of late, things that have been in the media. So they're saying the move gave him instant social status. It let him rub shoulders lucratively with a New York social dynasty. Again, New York social dynasty. So if he's rubbing shoulders with them, how many of those people were part of the Diddy parties? How many of those people were at his home? How many of those people were on those yachts? How much video footage does he possibly have with this New York social dynasty, right? And we're talking about money people. So it says, and in turn gave their decades old brand a fresh, contemporary glamour associated not just with rap music, but his celebrity packed white parties in the Hamptons. So that was a win-win for both. They got to like, I guess, rebrand or recreate some of their old brands and introduce it to a new audience, right? Get new life into it, which is great because I mean they get new money, and it makes it like more palatable to some of the young people because Diddy was hip and cool, right? And it says the company was thrilled with the partnership, and Chief Operating Officer William Lauder said Diddy was a man who has built a phenomenal reputation as a taskmaker in music, in fashion, and in business. So look at all these people around him. He's the only African American there, and these people all have money. And Diddy was a part of that circle. These were powerful people. You cannot tell me Diddy don't have some information on some of them people. Because you know they're seeing some of those videotapes he used to say that he could, I got a tape on you. You might want to chill or you're going to have to give me some money, right? So some of that stuff, it wasn't just all what he was doing. Some of those tapes, he had to have information and have power over people, like Cassie said he did to her. So then he goes on to talk about his Macy's deal. He was ringing in the New York Stock Exchange in 2003, a sign of his power and influence, because this is kind of chronicling how he got to where he became, how he's gotten the money and become so powerful. Analysts said Diddy was one of the first celebrities to essentially license his name to brands, and companies were able to draw on that to reach a more diverse group of customers. So then we see Ciroc. And interestingly enough, this is just a little sidebar. Today, I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and my Uber guy, we're just talking, and he mentioned something about he's only been in the Bay Area for a few years. And I was like, oh, where were you from before? You know, and he's like, oh, I was a driver in Miami. And he mentioned that he had a black service business or black car, whatever. And I'll go, oh, so you're Miami. I'm just associating Miami with Diddy because you know how we do. If you from that any place somebody celebrity is from, people gonna say, oh, do you know so and so? I went to Virginia and somebody said, oh, you're from California. Do you know Jay Leno? So it's kind of funny. But yeah, I did ask him. So he's like, oh, no, I really don't know. I don't know him, but I did, drive to one of his parties one time on Star Island. I was like, oh, give me the story. Give me the story. So he says nothing big. He said he's a cool guy. So I'm like, cool guy. I'm like, do you know what's going on with Diddy right now? So he's like, yeah, but y'all know I have to cough. He said, yeah, but he said at the time, I think he said it was about in 2013, after after he was with J-Lo. So I'm assuming he was with Cassie. He said he picked up some rappers. He didn't remember the rappers, but he said Diddy, and I went online to see, he said, and his partner were introducing Ciroc, I guess. And so I looked it up. So I guess that would have been DJ Khaled. So I looked it up when I got home, right? Because he couldn't remember the guy's name. He said, so he took the rappers, and before they got to Diddy's party, they wanted to stop at a store to get some. They didn't want to go empty handed. So he said they stopped at the store and they got they got like a box of, I guess, champagne or wine or something. So he said they got a big box because they wanted to take it to the party. And he said, so he was there and let him get out and everything. And he was waiting for a bit. And he said they came back and told him, hey, stop. And he said Diddy had came out with them, and they told him, no, man, you could take the liquor that that we bought. And they gave it to him. He was like, what? Are you sure? Like, he was like, oh, well, okay, but what, really? And they told him, they say, yeah, because there was no other liquor brand. You couldn't bring liquor into the party because Diddy had filled the swimming pool up with all Ciroc. And so people weren't swimming that night at the party. But if you had a glass, you would dip it into the pool to get your liquor. And it was only Ciroc. So I just thought that was interesting. I was like, you got any more Diddy stories? He said no. And I said, any other celebrities? And he was like, and I said, well, so I told him, I said, well, if you have anything, if you think of anything, let me know. He was really cool. So shout out to him, Uber driver today. But yeah, he didn't try to embellish, because I was like, give me something. Give me what you got. I need some drama. But he said no. He says, Diddy was very cool because he said, he was nice too. He's like, go on. And he came out to the car with the guys and, he was just cool. But we all want to hear some dirt, but he didn't have no dirt. But that's what he told me. So anyway, and I just mentioned that because of the Ciroc. So it says he countered by proposing to become a brand manager. Oh, so this is a story in which Ciroc had offered him the opportunity to be a brand manager, and Diddy said, "No, honey, no. Let's make this work for me." And so he countered by proposing he become brand manager and chief marketing officer in return for a 50% profit share. Very smart. And even had the business cards made up for his new role before the deal was done. So he went to one of the meetings where they were discussing it, and he handed out the business cards with his name as what he wanted to be. Okay. So Diddy was very forward thinking. You can't knock it. Those are the kind of moves that do impress people, being bold, outside of the box, and just, not afraid to do something different. And unfortunately, very unfortunate that with all of his gifts, he used it, and it's not going to serve him well in the long run. This man could have had a legacy that would have been just great. Of course, it was riddled with stuff that we heard about his poor business dealings, but this right here, now it cannot be disputed. His legacy is forever tarnished. So then it says Diddy announced his partnership with Diego for its Ciroc brand in 2007 at a press conference after brazenly printing his business cards. So there you see Diddy drinking the Ciroc, and Diddy really turned that brand around. It says the vodka brand agreed. He missed no opportunity to promote it, with the deal paying him nearly $1 billion over the next 15 years. So that's in part where he got the money, where he started amassing the money and became a billionaire. And it spanned, they're saying, 15 years. And it says he turned Ciroc into a hugely successful brand. The savvy negotiations led many in Hollywood to respect Diddy's acumen. He was a master entrepreneur. So you can't take that from him, because he was not only successful in music, but he was able to parlay that into other business venture, clothing, liquor, pimping. Okay, no, I'm just kidding with that, but okay. One music business insider who said the rapper was widely respected in Hollywood as a businessman told the Post. He was a super intelligent, hardworking guy and a genius at brands. When Diddy rang the bell in 2016 as a representative for Ciroc, President Tom Farley said Diddy was an inspiration to him and similar to the founding fathers, since they were both hustlers. So you see Diddy's up there at the New York Stock Exchange, baby. He's ringing the bells. Money, money, money. So they go on to talk about how his relationship with Ciroc, the Diageo relationship, ended in rancor in 2023 when Diddy accused the multinational of racism. The case was settled in January, with Diageo now sole owner of Ciroc and De Leon Tequila. Now, a lot of people are saying when Diddy went up against this, now if Diddy earned those people, if they were able to pay Diddy millions over the course of 15 years. You can imagine how much money they got. So anybody affiliated with that deal, and the powers to be were probably very powerful, right? So for him to go and accuse them of racism and sue them, the big wigs were like, okay, little boy, now we done let you into this circle, we done rubbed elbows with you, but it's just not a good look. Like, who are you? Like, look what we've done for you. And I'm not saying he's not correct, but we're looking at the power structure. You can't buck that, right? You have made agreements with these people. We have put you in a place and position, and now you're gonna turn around and sue us? Igor, I said, are you crazy? So basically, a lot of people are saying that is what started this whole Cassie, and where people are like, okay, you want to play games? We gonna break your buck. We gonna do some buck breaking here. So, and then it talks about in 2015, Diddy again teamed up with Burkle and Mark Wahlberg. So they're going on to talk about the water stuff again, and then that's Mark Wahlberg there. And then they go on to talk about, again, circling back to Ron Burkle. Earlier this year, Burkle, a one-time close friend of former President Bill Clinton, was linked to another alleged ex-trafficker when he was listed in an unsealed court filing naming people associated with the notorious Jeffrey Epstein. There's no suggestion Burkle engaged in wrongdoing. So again, as I said to you before, Burkle is affiliated with Epstein, and he gonna buy Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, right? And now Diddy, come on, sir. Come on. You've been able to keep your nose clean, but that don't mean your nose is clean, right? So that's why I feel Diddy is just the beginning layer of them toppling other people, just like they took down Epstein and Weinstein and Cosby, and that some are saying Jay-Z. This is not going to stop, okay? And remember, a lot of this is out of New York. R. Kelly was out of Chicago, but New York was involved in his case as well. So all of these people have a history with that, what they say, the Southern District of New York, and this whole trafficking. They probably got a laundry list of people that they're investigating that they're going to be coming for, not just with Diddy's case, but just in general. Diddy also forged a relationship, blah blah blah, so we can skip that, because now they're just kind of going over his relationships, and again, just showing how powerful he was and how well connected. And that's Ray Dalio. He said Diddy asked me to mentor him, and that's another person who was a very, very wealthy. Dalio said he's a real hero, and he wants to be a role model and help others. Diddy was lying like a rug, baby. You wasn't trying to help nobody except help them out their undies, allegedly. So they're talking about Diddy, his associations, and then we got another mogul. In 2021, Diddy teamed up with tech mogul Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce, whom Forbes estimates to be worth $10.5 billion. Okay, and that's where he started that online Black business, Empower Global, which we're hearing that a lot of people have pulled out, and I guess that company is probably going to fold pretty soon. A lot of the vendors that were listed there trying to sell products, they just don't want no association with Diddy. So Diddy says about that company, building Black wealth starts with investing in Black-owned businesses and giving entrepreneurs access to the consumers needed to build sustainable companies that can thrive. And I guess he also told Billboard magazine last year he wants to collaborate with Byron Allen, who is another billionaire, the TV mogul, and billionaire Hollywood director Tyler Perry, to create a Black-owned media conglomerate, although neither struck any deals with him. Nobody's going to be doing any business with you anytime soon, Diddy. And if perchance the Lord himself came down and pardoned you, just let's say if there was a miracle, no. After all of this, they're not going to be doing much of anything, And it says after Diddy was accused by his ex Cassie of raping and trafficking in domestic last November, and he settled the suit without admitting her claims, Brands began distancing himself. So that's where it all falls down, right? It says Macy's, which still carried his fashion line, said it would stop selling his products, and 18 companies selling products of Empower are reported to have left the platform in recent months. So that right there, what I wanted to do is show Diddy's connection to these powerful people and give a different perspective in that, yes, while Diddy definitely is probably, guilty of some things, I believe there's a bigger hierarchy and that there's a ring of people. I mean, we've always heard that there's just a whole there's a group of these people. It's like a network. And so now I'm starting to think that, not to say again that Diddy is not guilty, but these other people have a hand in some of this. So now we're going to circle back again to Ron Burkle and like the people who have influenced Diddy. And so let's go back to Diddy having these videotapes in his home. Again, Ron Burkle, like his godfather, they call him, his financier, his Ace Boon Coon, Ace Boon Coon is a very antiquated saying. I shouldn't have even said that because that's a very derogatory term. So I take that back. His buddy who has financed a lot of his stuff. Let's look at some of his history. Now, Ron Burkle has not been accused of doing anything with any underage people or any X acts, but let's look at his history and the kind of how he gets down and why very, very closely related to Diddy. So, Ron Burkle, one other thing I found strange too. So, Diddy's ex, the mother of three of his children, Kim Porter, she died in November of 2019, mysteriously, right? Unknown causes. Her death was under investigation initially, and then it was ruled that she died of some kind of a flu-like, or I'm not a clinician, so, but like she was sick with some flu-like type of stuff, right? In 2020 or 2021, Ron Burkle's son died. The cause of death that was like 2 years ago. The cause of death has still not been released. Okay. I don't know if it's under seal, but I could not find his cause of death. Now, people have come online and you will see articles where people say initially his death was under investigation. When a death is under investigation, that means it's suspicious, right? Mysterious, like what happened. Some people are saying, I've seen some clippings saying that they believe it may have been, unalive himself, but very weird to me that you got Diddy and Ron Burkle, who are like besties. That's like Ron Burkle is the godfather of his sons. Quincy was very good friends with the young man, I think Andrew Burkle. I hope I'm saying his name right. They were really good friends. Quincy posted that he was very heartbroken by his death. So you got two people close to these two men, two separate incidents where Ron Burkle's son was 27. He mysteriously out of here. And then you got Kim Porter mysteriously out of here. That just, all of these things, these bodies around these people is weird to me because it's like, oh, like it's again, birds of a feather. Oh, you need to get rid of something. Oh, I can help you get rid of that. Let me tell you how. I don't know. I'm not saying that anything that he did something, but it's the circle of people they're surrounded by. Like if people know certain things, if somebody's going to come out with some allegations against a parent or a friend, no, you're not. Same thing they said about Jay-Z with that alleged mistress and how she ended up out of here because she may have allegedly been pregnant and was going to talk about her relationship with Jay-Z. You see what I'm saying? How people one day they're fine and then the next day they're just gone, So Ron Burkle, so let's get into his little tea and why I think this is interesting. Let me go back here. So it says Ron Burkle went through a a divorce, right? Okay, y'all, I got to cough real quick. Hold on one second. One second. Okay, so Ron Burkle's divorce. Remember Diddy's tapes. So it says newly unsealed documents in billionaire Ronald Burkle's divorce include allegations from his former wife that he spied on her, their young son, and her boyfriend. Again, remember, this is Diddy's bestie, okay? Like this is his mentor. What do you mean he spied on him? The documents released Friday included a declaration, and see, Burkle wanted this stuff sealed. He didn't want nobody to know about it. This declaration from Burkle's daughter, Carrie Ann Burkle, said her father once told her his security staff, remember, Diddy had a security staff too, had pictures and videos. Pictures. What do you mean his security staff has pictures and videos of his wife, Janet Burkle, and her boyfriend having, yes, sex, baby. She said her father called his security director in front of her and once told her Janet Burkle was with her boyfriend at this very moment. The daughter's declaration came in support of Burkle's 2003 application for a court restraining order, which was denied. Bingo. So there we have it. These people, so Diddy having cameras and videotapes and video footage of people probably goes way back because his mentor, Ron Burkle, was, this is what they're talking about in his, against his wife, right? So he wanted this information sealed. So that lets you know how they get down. So this man, not only did he have this information about his wife, you know, he got it about other people. It says that he had video footage of his son and his wife. He spied on her, their son, and her boyfriend. Isn't that weird? And now we're finding out that Diddy has thousands of hours of video on people. So, and this dates back to 2003. So that's over 20 years ago. So these people been getting down like that. So now we look at Ron Burkle and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter that it was his wife. So we know you did it to your wife. Who else did you do it to? So there's this whole network, and all of these people probably have footage and videotapes of each other. And I don't know if we could say the word BLACK, male. And that's what they use to get over on people. This man had this video when he was going through the divorce, probably trying to leverage it to say, oh, I'm not giving you anything. I'm going to do this and do that. Why would you have tapes of your wife getting busy with her boyfriend? I know it's not cool, you know, because it's, you know, she cheating, and I get it. But you got tapes. So you probably got tapes on other people as well. I mean, come on now. This, it's all starting to make sense. You got, okay, so you guys, I'm going back to I'm late. So y'all got to bear with me. I'm going back. Okay. Oh, I'm going to just jump in right here. Thailand. Exactly. Thank you. Thailand. That's where, and so I'm going back to what I was talking about. Thailand is where the men, they go and they have the underage girls and boys. And I'm glad you had a great day. The Wolf of Wall Street. Exactly. So I think there's probably some elements of that story, because I believe that was supposed to be a true story, but I didn't know that Diddy's story was so similar to that. The Wolf of Wall Street. So then Lulu's laughing. His boo. Yes. So people are saying that there was a romantic relationship. Remember, y'all, we were all saying it was Clive Davis. Clive is getting old and he is out of the closet, but now I'm starting to think that a lot of people think that it was her. It may have been all of them. You know, maybe Diddy was everybody's boy toy. Hey, left work so late. Okay, I'm glad you're here. I hope you're still here. But anyway, shout out to you again. For everybody listening, please don't forget to go to Tawana to Inspire DIYs. And I did go to your channel, honey. And and I hope I'm saying it right. You said Gaginko Gagak, whatever. I can't never say that stuff right. And I told you the next time I talk to you, I was going to have some. I don't have it. I use Amazon for everything, but I'm getting it. I really need it. So I'm just to let you know that was some good information. Please continue. I mean, health related stuff, especially for women over 40. I mean, I love your channel. I love it. It was so informative. You got me so excited because, my memory and all that stuff. I mean, I just said earlier I was going to the doctor, okay? So, shout out to you. Love your channel. Love the information. Robin Walker says, "Hey everyone. Hey Robin, welcome." And you guys, I'm sorry. I was trying to get through all this because my problem is this is not my day job, so I get a little bit offline when I'm not linear when I present information. So I'm trying to do it in a cohesive manner so people won't go, "Girl, what the hell are you talking about?" Because in my mind, like when I'm laying down, I'm like, "Oh my God, this piece of the puzzle goes here, it goes there." And I'm trying to put it all together so that it makes sense for you guys, right? So I know if I read the comments, I will go left, right? So hopefully I stayed on track today. Lulu says manifesting. Girl, I do believe in some manifestation. Yes. Definitely a smart man and went after what he wanted. Absolutely. I mean, and he accomplished a lot. Where did the dark turn come in? What happened? He didn't need to do all of this, right? Leave that for the pimps up hoes. Then I mean, why did he? You were in a world of the elite, the sophisticated, the New York and all of this. What made him turn and just? I mean, he was a street guy before, and his dad was a hustler and all that, but he had elevated from that. Tawana says he had every rapper posting and drink. Yes, I remember everybody was into Ciroc. I even bought Ciroc. I think the last time I bought Ciroc was probably about 2 years ago. Because I don't really drink like that. But, Lulu said exactly, Tawana. He had everyone posting for free while he was. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, really? So I didn't know that DJ Khaled, from what I just read, was his partner in that venture, because I never heard much about DJ Khaled. So I wonder if Diddy brought him in and just kind of undercut him. Sound like that's what he do to everybody. Tawana says, "Hey Lulu, can't bite the head in that feeds you." Exactly. I think that's exactly what happened. And so by Diddy going after people, or suing them for racial discrimination, and I'm not saying that they didn't discriminate against him. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. Because Diddy's his business practices seem so shady to me. Who are you saying did something unjust to you? You've benefited like the devil on everything. So, like, were you slighted to some degree? Possibly, but damn, I mean, look at all the things that you've gained. But I mean, as in anything, I always tell my daughter, we went to see that musical Hamilton, and how they talk about, was it Icarus? Am I saying the name right? Flew too close to the sun. Sometimes that happens, you're blessed with so much. Be grateful, be humble, be happy. But sometimes it's just not enough. And then you get too close to the sun and you get burned. And I feel like that's what's happening to him. Lulu says, "Hey, Tawana." Tawana says he also pissed off Hollywood when he told him he don't play the joke, and he said F them, which was the last thing he did. He got big headed. He also told off Hollywood when they told him don't play when they told him don't play the Joker. Is that what you're talking about? Let me know for sure, because I did see somebody talking about when Diddy was doing that, he got into a little bit of a riff when he played the Joker, and I did see that. It was a great costume, but I didn't see how that was such a bad thing. It was like, it's the Joker. Like, what did he do so wrong? I saw that he got into a little fight that night, or he told somebody, "You know who I am?" He said Igor. I don't like to say the N word. He said, "Igor, do you know who I am?" And he was like, I threatening somebody. But is that what it was? Um, I do too. I believe they will try to protect him as much as possible. See, I think that okay. Tawana, let me cough, girl. Hold on. I think that it's not that people are going to try to protect him anymore. I think people are trying to protect themselves. People are like scared. Okay, let's put it like this. Let's say me and you, um, T, that's my name, T, and Tawana, like we girls, we cool, and we did some ish together, and I get caught, but you was in it with me. And so now I'm like, look, I'm not going down alone. And because Diddy has said, I'm not going down by myself. They've always said that Diddy has made it very well known. Look, that's why he keeps the tapes. If something happens to me, I need you, and you to do A, B, C, D, because I'm not going down. Because if something go down, we all going down. So I feel like that's like if something happened to me and you or I got busted and we had done something together, you might not necessarily be trying to protect me or help me. You might just don't want your ass to get in trouble, right? So I feel like a lot of the people now, the people who were probably protecting them before all of this, before he became the spotlight, before all of this ish was on him, I feel like now it's a matter of people scrambling and either trying to bury him and get their dirt away, because some people are speculating that the raids were really to cover up get the tapes out of his custody so that certain people could be, get their names out of some of the drama. But unfortunately, I just think that there's so many people involved that there's just not going to be a clean cut for anybody. If you are part of his mess, you're probably going to have to turn evidence and work with the feds. So I feel like the people who were initially really trying to support him and protect him, I don't think they have a leg to stand on anymore, and they're going to have to protect themselves. And he will be thrown out for the wolves if he's not able to turn over a bigger person. Like if he could make a plea, some kind of a deal, and be able to turn over an even bigger person, then I feel like he's going to be the one to take the fall. Let's see. Okay, Tawana says she believes he will try to protect him as much as possible. I got you. I'm starting back this weekend. Oh, okay, good. Yes. What you gonna be talking about? I have so many ailments. I think we talked about the migraines. We talked about acupuncture. But yeah, girl, all of this health stuff is really, really great, and the natural herbs and everything. Because I'm trying to be more natural than I, have been in my younger years. Greediness, yeah, and that is Black Pearl. Hey, Black Pearl, welcome. Yeah, I think sometimes it's just, yeah, when is enough? I mean, he wanted to be a billionaire. I get that, and that's great. Black excellence, all of that stuff. But sometimes, like, how much is enough? And it's nothing wrong for striving to be great, but it took a dark turn. Like I keep trying to look and find out when he became this dark person, or when did this ex trafficking start, or was he always like that? Now, per Gene Deal says he always liked to put hands on women. Back to Misa Hilton, and his first, Justin's mom. That he was violent back then. I believe Diddy has done more than we are even ready. Oh, I agree with you. But you know what, Tawana? I don't think it's just him. I think it's a lot of the people that we admire. Look at Bill Cosby. Who would have ever Bill Cosby? I mean, it's shocking. Like the people that they put on this pedestal, and mainly only because they're celebrities. It's not even like they've done anything so great, like medically, like heart, like creating a new medication or something special, or doing something for artistic children. Nothing like that. It's just that they are celebrities. They live this fancy lifestyle, so we put them on a pedestal. We worship them, when a lot of them, I mean, they really don't have great moral fiber at all. I mean, look at the affiliation now. I think TD Jakes, that he should have probably never been partying with Diddy. If he was his spiritual counselor, then what are you doing at the parties? Like, you have to use some discernment. Sir, you are a man of the cloth. You ain't got no better sense than that. I mean, I know people. When I was younger, I dated a guy whose brother was a pimp. And I met the social workers. I call them social workers instead of, ex workers. That's because I was raised to call. I couldn't say prostitute in our house, so I had to call them social workers, right? So I would be around. I met them, and I, never partied with them. We would be at his sister's house, and they would come over after work with the brother and stuff. And I mean, and they were nice women and all of this stuff, but I would never put myself in a situation where I was going to, socialize with them. We would just meet up, and it was her house was not that kind of environment. This is where they were coming to visit the sister, and the sister and I were good friends. But it's like, what would I be doing hanging out with them in San Francisco where they, on the stroll? No, because if something goes down, I would very much be considered, I would be part of what they're doing, or would be thought to have been a part of that. So TD Jakes just didn't use a lot of discernment when it comes to Diddy. Like, you kind of know who you should be around and who you shouldn't be. He was a dark spirit from the start. I believe that too. I do. I mean, I believe he was a dark spirit, but when did it turn all the way to, like the Cassie thing? When I don't know if you guys saw the video of Cassie on the floor where when they were in the hotel room and she kind of covered herself and her leg was stretched out. It was such a sickening, bizarre position that she was in, and him talking about her, but looking at her squirming on the floor, like she was covered. So we don't know if she was high, but it looked like an animal. Like you knew it was Cassie, and her leg was stretched out and she was moving under it. I have a daughter, and just to see that literally made me ill. Maybe some of y'all got a strong stomach, but seeing that girl under the blanket or whatever she was under, squirming the way she was, I have never been in a situation with a man or nobody to make me cower like that. Who the hell? What? I'm just saying, not that I'm Miss Billy Bad ass or nothing like that. I'm just saying to put her in that position where she's scared and covered, and and he's talking bad to her. I can't imagine. And she's on the floor. It just made me want to, oh my God, it made me sick. My mother was like, girl, quit watching it. If you're going to get yourself sick like that, stop watching it. She was like, you're a glutton for punishment, but it just turned my stomach. Yes, they told him not to play the joke. Okay, he really was threatening people. Okay, I heard some stuff about, I just thought it was for that night. And okay, so he was only doing like a outside video, I thought, like Halloween or something. I got to go back and look a little bit deeper into that, because I did hear about it, but I didn't know exactly what he had done. I kind of just heard high level, they told him to stop. But so, I mean, so you think that him playing the Joker and them telling him to stop is another reason that he brought all of this heat on himself? Because it could be. If you don't do what they tell you to do, we can see how that can end up all bad. That video he told Stevie J to put out was giving it was. I mean, so many people are saying that. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was like he was saying, I got, y'all don't know, but I got a lot of videos of everybody. And because you think about it, if he did a video 5 years ago, I mean, if you were getting at one of his parties and getting inebriated, you might forget what you've done. Diddy, the same way he did Cassie, maybe he, you guys, I'm sorry. See, I told you guys, I don't think linear. Did you guys see, and I'm not going to play, you know what? I'll put it in the, I will put it in the description if I can after, in the little box after. Did you guys see that video of Justin Bieber and I think it's Odell Beckham? I think I'm saying his name right. And they're at a party. I don't know if it's a Diddy party, but they're associating it with Diddy. And Justin um Odell is standing up and it's a crowd and Trey Songz is there and it's like somebody, whoever was recording, comes over and then Trey Songz gets this like surprised look on his face and kind of like, oh, and I think he kind of bumps Odell. And the next thing you see is Justin has on like a hoodie, I believe, like a gray hoodie. I'm telling you guys. And he comes up and it's almost like he was bending over and he comes up and his face is in the camera. But as he's doing that, it looks like he was coming up from Odell Beckham's pant area. And then you see him zipping it up. What the hell was that? And Justin looks shocked and high and bewildered. Okay. And there's a group of people around. What are you doing at a party with a group of people? And they kind of cheering him on. And, you're Justin Bieber. What are you? It's almost like he was on his knees or down by this man's crotch. He kind of comes up and the other thing is that Trey Songz looks kind of not spooked, but like, stop, check, stop, because whoever walked up, maybe they didn't want that person recording it. But it looks like Diddy would get people in compromising positions. And if Diddy did do that, if that was at one of Diddy's parties, how did this end up on the internet? How did that footage end up? Because he would probably capture videos of people, just like Cassie said, and kind of humiliate you and embarrass you. Oh, Justin, you don't want to work with me no more? Okay, I got you, bro. Here we go. You know what I mean? And like, we know that Justin now is having all kind of problems. The man, they said that his wife is going to be his conservator. He don't want to be a part of the music industry. He went to the church, just like Mace. Diddy so bad, he got people running to the church, right? Becoming pastors. It's like, what the hell did they experience under this man? What? The only person who's kind of keeping it together is Usher, okay? Usher's kind of, we don't know. Usher just be marrying old women. Maybe Usher don't want to run to the church. He said, I'm just going to run to some cougars, right? Because he always getting with an old school chick. Usher, after you leave his wife, I'm available, baby. You like I'm old? I'm about to be real old. Usher, and there's so many stories about what he did to Usher. I don't know, but he's the only one who seems to have not been mentally destroyed by Diddy. But some of the other ones, there's so many artists who have worked with him who are just, not doing well at all. Not only did he not give them money, but it looks like he took their mind. I believe all those cameras were already gone after Cassidy. Well, you know what they're saying? No, they got cameras though. When they see, here's the thing though, and I've said this before. If you have a home security cameras and stuff, a lot of your video, it the surveillance company would more than likely have access to the cameras or to some of the footage, right? So I don't know, but that video, the footage, the cameras were definitely still there because they got some of the cameras. We see when they went into the house, you can see where they pulled stuff out of the wall. So the wiring and stuff is still there. So I don't know if he took the cameras out. More than likely, if he had hundreds of cameras, because they said he had cameras in every room, the cameras were probably still there. I think it's not necessarily the cameras that's there was so much interested in, is the video footage. And that footage would have probably been on hard drives, possibly the surveillance company. So I think that's because they took hard drives, they took laptops, they took cell phones. So I think those are the things that are going to be the evidence. And again, as we're saying, and most people say and know, he's just not going to be able to erase all that information and metadata. I'm about to let you guys go. I'm about to get off of here because I'm over an hour and that's long. I know an hour is very long. Tawana says, hi, Black Pearl. There's only one person I looked up to, Denzel. Yes, Denzel still is pretty clean. Now, we know they say that Denzel cheated, but what's a little cheateration when you Denzel Washington in a 30, 40-year marriage, right? I mean, his wife, Paula, she probably like, yeah, okay, whatever. He ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere, and yeah, I still love Denzel. He still looks very, very good. Stephanie Thorne says, yeah, that was sad. Are you talking about Justin Bieber? Oh, it looks like my signal is low. Oh, I'm just seeing my signal dropped. I was praying that was a joke. It was horrifying. Maybe you guys are talking about Justin. None of this is going to stop. None of that is going to stop us lay people because we don't live that rich lifestyle. Yeah. And a lot of women are still gonna, like look at what's her name? Young Miami. She probably knew a lot of this stuff about Diddy. A lot of these women, but they're still gonna be part of the entourage if they think it's money and stardom and to be found when he looked like he was giving. Yes, oh my God. That was just I do you think that's what he was doing? I mean, it first of all, so that means they're voyeurs, right? So if that's what he was doing, if that was Odell Beckham, you mean to tell me he pulled it out in front of a group of maybe I'm so old, child, huh? Like it's a crowd of people, or are they on all these drugs to the point where they're not inhibited? Like I don't care, I mean, what is going on? I mean, I have never been to a party remotely like that. Now in San Francisco, they used to have this thing. I don't know if you guys heard about it, probably in New York and Miami. They would have this thing because I think it started in San Francisco, but it was called the Exotic Erotic Ball. And I would always hear about it when I was younger. It's sort of like that whole freaknik stuff. All of them things I never went to because I was just too scared. I was raised Catholic, like too much going on. I don't want to be around that energy. But the Exotic Erotic Ball, like I heard that they would do drugs and they would be half naked and all kind of stuff. And when it first started, I heard it was kind of wild. And I was like, okay, I could go. But I knew anything other than that, I don't want to be a part of it because it's too much. It's like negative energy, spiritual energy jumps off on you and you just never know. Well, anyway, you guys, that's my time. Thank you for joining me, Tawana. I will be checking out your channel. I put it to, I don't think I was on all, for notifications, but I have changed it to all. So I will be looking forward to any remedies or anything you have in there. Matter of fact, I will be asking you some stuff. I'll be asking you some of my medical stuff too. I have been sick, but I'm, feeling better. These migraines are killing me. Yes, I went today to get a scan to see why I keep having these headaches. So anything you could do or talk about with the migraines, remedies, that would be very much appreciated because they always just want to throw medications. And I really just don't want to do that, because it makes you tired and sluggish and you have to drive and all that stuff. So if I could get some more natural home remedies, I would prefer that. But thank you guys for coming. I will see you on the next video. And please, you guys, any friends, share my videos, whatever. All of that's all good and dandy. But I'm giving away the $50 cash app tomorrow. So if you know somebody, tell them to watch a video, make a comment, leave a comment in any of the videos that I've done this week. And I told you I was trying to choose a name for the people who watch my channel, either Scandalous Crew or Scandalous Squad. And I said I like the Secret Society of Scandalites. I'm gonna do that anyway because I just thought that was cute. And this young lady got in my comments and was like, "There's already somebody with that name." I'm like, "Girl, do you know it's people named Tom is about 1 billion times in this world, right?" Okay, so one more scandalous socialites, it's not gonna be a problem. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Tomorrow is payday Friday, and I hope it's a great day for you guys. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.